Hi guys, welcome to this lecture. In this lecture, I'm going to teach you the mouse move. So what is the mouse move event? When we take the mouse over this div and we move the mouse, so we can create a functionality which will give us a notification, or we can create any functionality uh, with that event, that is mouse move, when we move the mouse over a specific element. And we can also get the coordinates of the x and y axis uh, from that mouse move. Here is, I'm gonna write dollar, and here is, I'm gonna write div, and on this I'm gonna apply the mouse move event. And here is the parentheses, and here I'm gonna write function. Here is the braces, and now in between this I'm gonna write a event. I'm gonna alert when we move the mouse over the div. Here is moving, and here it is. And now here I'm gonna take on it, so here you see that it is moving. And now another thing that we can get from this mouse move, we can get the position of this mouse. When we move the mouse over the div, we can get the position of the mouse from the top left corner. We can get the position from this corner, from this left corner, and from this top. And here is this mouse move event create another event that have the location, or you can say that coordinates of the x and y axis, the position of the mouse. And here you can write any name to that event object. Here I'm gonna write e, or you can write event, or you can write any name. And in between this, here I'm gonna write that here is, first of all, we have to write that event object name that is passed in the function, and then we have to write dot, and then we have to write here is client x. So now it will give the position of the mouse in the x-axis, and here is the position of the mouse in the y-axis. And here is, I'm gonna store it in the y variable, and here is and x-axis position in the x variable. So now after this, I'm gonna print these coordinates, these x and y position of the mouse in the div. Here is, I'm gonna write select this. We have to write this because the div is already selected, and I'm gonna write text, or here I'm gonna create another div, so another span, so it will be clear. And here is span, and here it is, and here I'm gonna write span and dot text, and then you have to write the variable name outside the double quotes. Here is, if we write the variable name inside the double quotes, that is x and y, so it will simply print the x and y on the screen. Here you can see that when I move over it, so x and y is printed. But to print the values of the x and y, because x and y are the variables, we have to write x and y outside the quotes, and then we have to append the text. Here is the variable, and before this we have to append some text coordinates to define it. Coordinate of x axis, and here is this text will be printed on the screen, and we have to append this variable with the text, and then after it we have to write another variable name, that is y. It will give the position in the y-axis, and then here is the plus to append the text. Here is plus, and here we don't need to write any, and here in between this we have to write coords. Here is coords of y. I'm just gonna write coords of x. So here I hope you understand, this is the text that will be printed on the screen, and then this is the plus to concatenate. It is this plus is just for concatenating this x variable with this text, and then this plus to concatenate this variable with the next text, and then this here is the variable of the y, and this concatenation plus sign, we must need to write this sign to place this variable and the text inside the span. Here is this, and when I move over it, so here you can see that the coords of x is 174, coords of y is 144. So here you can see that in this way, when we move the mouse over the div, it will give the position of the div according position of the mouse according to the page. And here if we don't write these plus signs, here you can see that I'm gonna remove these plus signs, and then what will happen, let's see it. So here you see that the text is not printed on the screen, and we must need to concatenate these variables with the text, because these double quotes have the text and these are the variable, so we must need to concatenate the variables with the text. And here I want to tell you another thing, that is this client text maybe sometimes it will not work, or many browser does not support. Sometimes Google Chrome is a supported browser for this client X and Y, but many browser does not support this client X and client Y. So we have the alternatives of this. You can also use page X and page Y, so it will also do the same functionality. It gives the position of the mouse. Here we just need to write the page X and page Y, so it will do the same thing. It have the same functionality. These X and Y are capital, it have the same functionality, but we have the two different syntaxes, because maybe sometime page will not work on one browser, but it will work on other browser. So these are the different things. So here you can see that it is creating the same result. So this is the mouse move. If you have any problems, so kindly add the discussion. I will help you as much as I can. In the next lecture, I'm going to discuss the hover when we take the mouse over any element, so we can notify the user and we can build a jQuery functionality. See you in the next lecture. Thank you for watching this lecture.